Welcome to this week's audio-only midweek check-in episode of That's Based. Remember, we do this every Wednesday, 9 a.m. CST, where the big show with video drops every Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, Rumble, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. I am your host, as always, Caleb Salvatore. We're laughing our way through the end of days, and we're brought to you by Outlaw Streamers. Head on over to www.outlawstreamers to learn more. Big shout out to the sponsors, our friends over at Blood of Tyrants Wine. You head on over to www.drinkbloodofTyrants.com. Use the promo code BASED, like the title of the show, BASED, for 10% off of your order. You can get either their Merlot wine or their Liquid Freedom energy drink. Got zero sugar, zero carbs, 0 calories, all the benefits of coffee and energy drinks without any of the negative downsides. It also makes it so you'll live forever. So go ahead, use the promo code BASED, B-A-S-E-D, like the title of the show. I lied about that one, but you can't really sue me because, I mean, you're going to be dead, so fuck you. B-A-S-E-D, like the title of the show, going to save you 10% off of your order. This week for our midweek check-in, we have got a lot going on. We got Rand Paul released his Festivus grievances for all of the bloated federal government spending going on. Donald Trump has floated the idea of making Nikki Haley his vice president. The Louisiana governor pardoned some individuals that maybe shouldn't have been pardoned. Jim Pillen, the governor of Nebraska, has denied some federal aid that was already paid for. The gaslighting over the economy continues, and speaking of the economy, we've got some interesting information on Gen Z's spending and saving habits, or lack thereof when it comes to saving habits. We have got a special guest with us, though. Scott Zimmerman, Mr. Z, whatever you want to call him. He ran for governor of Nebraska. He's a comic. He's my partner in crime and comedy and chaos. We run a show at Beach House in Omaha every month except January of next year. How's it going, bro?
Yo, man, thanks for having me out here. I'm having a great time. Just hanging out. I had a flashback to the Micro Machine guy, though, when you were doing your spiel at the beginning. I'm like, hey,
oh, I know.
You're
Dude,
so fast.
If this doesn't work out, I'm going to be an auctioneer.
I love it. I love it.
That's my next job. I'll get on Storage Wars or something.
Hell yeah.
So we haven't talked to you since you ran for governor.
Sure.
How's life been post-governor campaign?
It's a peaceful life.
Peaceful existence.
It's a peaceful life.
Less bullshit,
Dude,
right?
Dude, it's crazy. Politics is a dirty, filthy, rotten game, and you don't, like, from the outsider perspective, you kind of know it's there, but it doesn't hit your life. But when you're in it, the trenches, and you're dealing with these people every day, it's like, man, it's hard to get home and get the stench off you.
Sure. Yeah. It's hard to, you take your work home.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to carry it with you because, your whole, especially if you're a person that has some compassion, and you actually care for people and want to connect with people, like you wear some of that with you permanently. A lot of these guys, it just rolls off their back. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I'm sorry you're struggling with your family or whatever, but vote for me anyway. And they don't even think about it. Me, I hear those stories of how the government's, keeping them down, keeping their farm from being successful. And it hits me here in my soul. Yeah. And so I'm wearing that. And still, even today, I think about people that I met on the campaign trail. It's like, gosh, that's what got me into it. But I'm never going to do it again. Well, that's... Yeah. The system is so broken, you can't fix it playing the game their way.
Well, that's part of being a man is when people come to me, a human man, I guess I should say, not a robot like a lot of these politicians. When people come to me and they tell me about a problem, my first instinct is, okay, how do I help you solve this? Right? And our wives get pissed at us because they just want us to say, oh, that sucks. Right. They don't want us to have a solution.
You're married now, Caleb. The best advice I ever got from another married man that's maybe passed on is, man, always ask. Just say, hey, am I listening or am I problem solving? Yeah. And that usually will just, okay, I need you to listen to me right now, and then you can just shut up and listen.
Listen, yeah, that's a good point.
That saves us from a lot of trouble. I'll tell you that right
now. Well, yeah, that's the thing, is that's the human reaction. Right. People tell you these things, and you want to help them, not just shake it off like a scumbag politician and move on. And that's unfortunately obviously not all of them, but so many of the people that seek these higher offices. The problem with these guys is they're the people you don't want in charge because they're not human. There's something about them. It's robotic.
These are people that you wouldn't consider to be your friends.
No.
They are people you wouldn't want to associate 9 times out of 10. And
they don't have a lot of real friends.
Don't get me wrong. I've met some really genuine people, that are serving in public office, but they are the minority.
Well, that's a lot of them. I feel like they don't have real friends. I mean, look at the average. I mean, look, like the Don Bacon. Do you think Don Bacon has a lot of real friends? Probably not. Do you think Joe Biden has a lot of real friends?
No.
Probably not. You know, like any of these guys, they're so detached from reality. Every relationship is fake, and I'm envious, or not envious. I feel bad for people like that.
Yeah,
it's
hard. It's got to be lonely. It's got to be. Yeah. But maybe it's not lonely. Maybe they just don't care.
Well, they have enough going on. I don't know. It's just a weird dynamic for these lifelong career politicians. It's just I don't know. I think
career politics life is miserable, man.
Yeah,
and it's always about aspiring to the next level.
Mm-hmm. It's always about. It's just like any other job, climbing the ladder.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, imagine being a congressman, like in a swing district.
Sure.
Every 2 years,
you're fighting
tooth and nail to keep your job. Yeah. You do not want to go back to the private sector and get a real job.
No.
That's not what you want to do.
You don't want that.
No, you do not. You want the cushy job with the stipends and all the shit like that, and all the insider trading benefits that come from it.
The valet parking. Yeah.
You want all that.
You want all of that.
Paid interns on the taxpayer dime.
Absolutely.
Those things. Yeah, that's what you want. You do not want to go. And I mean, for the most part, if they'll like put in their time and pay their dues, they'll usually get some fake job as a lobbyist or at a think tank or Fox News analyst, MSNBC, something like that. Right. And they'll just walk away, and it's an easy life after that.
Right. And that's good. And again, they probably all say the same thing. It's a peaceful life.
Yeah. Radio show.
Once you get out of that, and the trenches are hard, and it's a difficult time in society to try and maintain this democratic republic or whatever we are. And there's just
democracy.
There's such a divide amongst the people, and you and I, we've talked about this in great length, that this is all by design.
Absolutely.
The people that are in power are fighting to remain in power, and the best way they can do that is to divide their enemy. And
Absolutely.
we, the people, are the enemy, man, and it sucks.
And that's what I've talked about, is when you see like the average, like I tell my audience this all the time, when you see the average like liberal guy, your neighbor or whatever, that's not your enemy. You know, you disagree on something, maybe they've got some crazy beliefs. They've intentionally been fed. Everyone's been fed the most extreme viewpoints from both sides in an effort to divide everybody, because that's what it is. Because we're fighting each other and not looking at the fact that this guy who's got $150,000 a year salary in Congress just bought a $3.5 million house.
Right.
You know, where did that money come from?
Like, who knows?
Yeah, well, I know.
We know. Follow the money. .org. It's a website. Sorry, I don't know that I can pimp that.
I mean, dude, when you look at Nancy Pelosi and I think Dan Crenshaw, the eye patch guy from Texas, eye patch McCain, they have those two trade their stocks at a higher success rate than Warren Buffett.
Yep.
I mean, what are we doing here? Come on. If you follow Nancy Pelosi and Dan Crenshaw and just invest in their investments, you could probably and stick to it and hit it hard. Within 5 years, you could probably quit your job. Yeah. And just live off the investments. I mean, that's how bad that's how obvious it is.
It's obvious, and it troubles me that, like, it's either everyone sees it and doesn't care, or they're literally that washed, you know. And it's hard to decide how to fight that system. I'm a fighter. I have been since the '80s, man. And when I started waking up and realizing that my government doesn't trust me.
No.
And that they never have my best interest in mind.
But they want you to trust them.
But we have to trust them.
Yep.
You know? Yep. And they're failing. The 6 years in a row, the Pentagon fails their audits. We don't know where all this money is.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's brushed under the, it's swept under the rug, you know?
And that's what we talked about. The Pentagon failed their audits, and yet we have how many banks collapse because they failed audits?
Right.
So the private sector isn't held to the same level of accountability as the public sector. That's how the Pentagon, sorry, we were off. My favorite part about that was they said they improved from the last audit. They're like, we improved. We were only off $900 billion this year.
Sound like one of my students.
That's it. We got better.
Mr. Z, I almost passed.
Yeah, I had a D+ instead of a D- this time. Like,
I got a 59%. I'm so close.
It was the equivalent of Scott Frost every season. We're almost there. I just need another year. We're going to write this ship.
I need one more onside kick. We're one onside kick away.
You're 4-8. You're kicking onside kicks up by 13 points every single year. Like, what are we doing here? That was the same thing. All right, that's actually a good way to segue government waste. So Rand Paul every year, the senator from Kentucky, libertarian, Republican, I don't know what you want to call
Happy
him.
Festivus, everyone.
He releases his Festivus Grievances. Now, Festivus is from Seinfeld, right?
That's correct.
I didn't watch Seinfeld.
Oh, wow. You missed out on something. So Festivus is a made-up holiday by one of the main characters, George, his dad.
Jerry Stiller.
Costanza. Yeah, Jerry Stiller, the actor. And Frank maybe was his name. I don't remember. Yeah. But he got into an altercation on Christmas fighting for a doll. And as he was raining blows upon the man, he thought to himself, there has to be a better way.
Yeah.
And then he created Festivus, right? Which is amazing, right? The aluminum pole, the airing of grievances. And my favorite, the feats of strength, which in my house we celebrate every year. We have the aluminum pole set up. We're ready to go. My son's looking forward to the feats of strength, right?
That's the 23rd. That's the day we're recording this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are the feats of strength?
That's Festivus, where you have to wrestle the largest person in the house and
so they all have to fight you.
Yes, they all have to fight me.
Like another year, your son might smoke you. He's getting to that age.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I'll ever do that. I don't ever want to be at the point where my son knows he can kick his dad's ass because I feel like it's all down the drain at that point.
No, mark my words. He will never be able to take me down.
It's that grown man strength.
That's right.
It really is. It really when my dad's 85, I still don't think I'm gonna be able to fight him. You know.
Never. No.
All right. So Rand Paul does a version of the airing of grievances every year where he talks about waste in government spending. So obviously this last year has been insane. I mean, we've had UFOs and God knows what else, Twitter spying on people and Barbie versus Oppenheimer, all that stuff. So his total amount for the airing of grievances this year, total taxpayer dollars wasted, he had over $900 billion this year. $900 billion on just frivolous expenses that the U.S. government has either willingly paid or been conned out of. So we're not going to go over the whole list, but we've got a couple of them here. Here's the first one. This is the Barbie doll photo used to get COVID PPP funds. It says the faces of Barbie's dream world played a role in the fiscal nightmare that was COVID-19 spending. Government spending was already out of control when Congress approved $800 billion in COVID paycheck protection, which was almost exclusively scammed. All of those SBA loans, people are still being arrested for scamming that.
Yeah, and we'll see that for the next decade.
I knew people that worked at banks, like in the branches, and they would have people coming in with $10,000 credits from the Treasury wanting to get the cash out. And they'd say, hey, what's this for? Well, my friend loaned me some money. Oh, your friend loaned you money from the federal government. That's real smart. Right. Yeah, that's it. So it says, as federal agencies hustled to get the funds quickly, it came as no surprise when swindlers lined up to get their cut. Some of us saw the writing on the wall and predicted that shutting down our economy and printing more money, blah, blah, blah. But using Barbie's face as part of identity to steal, or as proof of identity to steal taxpayer dollars was not on my bingo card. Says what was supposed to be an AI system to verify proof of ID quickly exposed the stupidity of the program. The verification system did not catch the images of dolls uploaded by fraudsters as ID. So they swindled with Barbie dolls and other dolls as fake IDs. They were able to swindle over $800 billion out of the federal government with Barbie dolls.
Right, and these are the people we're just letting them take money out of our paychecks.
Out of our paycheck.
Every time we get one. And every time we buy something.
Yep.
And every time we make any kind of move financially.
And not just that, these are the people that just hired 87,000 new IRS agents to manage or to monitor you.
Yeah.
Because they want to know that $600 Venmo payment you got. Yeah, once you hit $600 in Venmo, they want to know. Who did you share that pizza with?
Yeah, I don't.
Did they claim it?
Come back with a warrant.
Yeah. When that old lady paid your son $25 to shovel the snow, did he claim it?
Did he claim it? We want ours.
That's what we need
the government, the biggest bully ever, shaking us down for our milk money since
that's
1913.
My favorite, exactly. My favorite thing with the 87,000 IRS agents was they tried to add an amendment to it. Because remember when Biden ran, everyone was saying, if you're making less than $400K a year, don't worry about my taxes. It's not going to affect you. And I'm like, yeah, maybe that won't affect them. The tax bill won't, but the new audits coming will. And everyone's got something wrong with their taxes. We all get fined.
Everyone messes it up.
Everyone screws, and it's an honest
and
mistake.
That's on purpose, though.
Yeah.
That's the way the system is designed.
Yeah,
man. There's so many codes, and they just need to strip it all down and reset for our modern
100%.
Economy, for our modern society, where we're at today. It's
so bloated. The IRS, I mean. if the average
IRS
person,
should not have armed agents.
That's exactly it. Number one. I think it needs the tax code is way too complicated. I mean, if the average guy who owns a plumbing company can't sit down and do his taxes without hiring a professional accountant, it's too fucking confusing. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it.
It's hard, man. And like I've tried doing it on my own, and it's like even for a dude with a family, trying to make sure you're not messing yourself up. Yeah. And I know a lot of people get real excited about, my refund season, and all that. And it's like,
the interest-free loan.
That's your money. Yeah. Why didn't I have that for the rest of the year? Boy, this part of this $2,000 would have come in handy to help me fill my gas tank when I didn't have any money in July.
Exactly.
And gas prices, they're fluctuating so much. And I bought a loaf of bread for over $4.
Insane.
Normal bread, which used to be $2 a pop.
And we're going to get into the prices, too, because, I've seen some articles about this, and I'm like, I ain't seeing it.
It's insane.
No, it's completely ridiculous, the prices and the taxes they're adding on us. So here we go. We got a couple more of these here. What else? Let me pull the Twitter for Senator Paul up here. So we had the doll-face deception, is what he called it. The National Institute for Health approved $12 million in grants to study the sleep habits of monkeys on methamphetamine.
You know what? I could do that for half of that cost.
I know, right?
Right? Give me a monkey. Million, Give me a monkey. And please, you know what? I don't even need a monkey. I'm going to tell you, he don't sleep. I live next to one of those guys.
12 million. Yeah, exactly.
Meth head, crackhead next door. He's out there digging a hole to hell in 3 a.m.
Not going to sleep. Yeah,
they're not sleeping.
They're not going to sleep. Yeah, we're going to study the sleep habits of monkeys. There's a really racist joke I could make there.
Yeah, don't do it. I'm in the room, bro. I'll shut that down.
No, but I mean, this is $12 million of your money that they're hiring 87,000 new IRS agents to get more of, was taken to study the sleep habits of monkeys on methamphetamines. There we go. I mean, it's a reasonable usage of taxpayer money. I mean, it's
sure.
Like, yeah.
I wonder if it has to do with the space program. Who knows, man?
It could be.
Right?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No, dude, what you got to realize is most of this stuff is money laundering. They're giving these people have done some type of favor for these politicians or vice versa, and they're rewarding them. Hey, here's $12 million. They're not. You really think they're studying monkeys on meth? Of course, they might do it once, but most of that money's being pocketed.
Sure.
Where are they getting the meth?
Sure.
That's the other thing. Where are they making the meth?
I don't even know a guy
Are
anymore.
they going and buying it off the street?
I mean, you probably have to call the Hells Angels. Are they still doing the meth thing?
They pop down in some trailer park in Kentucky. These guys in lab coats.
Drive over to Council Bluffs. Who knows, man?
All right, so we have next up, USAID is spending $6 million to boost tourism in Esna, Egypt. We're going to boost the tourism industry in a specific city in Egypt for $6 million.
Wow.
Now, mind you,
a favor to somebody.
I know, exactly. Another Middle Eastern country with lots of money. Now, how much did it cost to rebuild Hawaii? Our top tourist destination when it burned to the ground in Honolulu. Yeah. And they gave people $700 checks.
There you go.
That was it. But $6 million to help out the Egyptian tourism
increased tourism.
the Egyptian tourism industry. What do we got next here? We've got.
Do you think that's not a typo? Maybe it was for the terrorism industry.
Well, that's probably what it's actually.
So
going to.
I guess and I don't know, man. We just got a target on our back, maybe, but they're like, oh shit, they know.
So next up, the Department of Defense, $8,395 on a lobster tank that they purchased from a restaurant equipment company in Springfield, Virginia.
What the fuck are they doing with a lobster
tank? I mean, I get they have to eat, but do they need lobster?
Like fresh lobster right there in the place?
And that's the other thing is that's what we've talked about too. That's how a lot of these black ops operations get funded. Yeah. They didn't spend $8,000 on a lobster tank. They spent $300, and the other $8,000 got sent over to Somalia, or who gives a fuck a stand. It's like the $40 coffee cups, the $200 hammers. No, they buy the hammer for $6.
Right.
And then the rest of that funds a black ops program. That's just on the record. That's what it is.
So I got mixed emotions about that. Like I don't want to get rid of black ops stuff.
Sure.
Because we need that.
Sure.
It's a critical part of our national defense. But
yeah.
There's got to be a better way.
Well, Black Ops, the concept of it, we've got to have it. But it's what they're doing. I mean, they're going over there, sticking our nose and spreading us
and
too
things
thin
that we don't need to be in.
Countries in Africa. Why are we there? What are we doing over there?
Well, we're dominating the world.
Yeah,
for the New World Order.
Yeah, exactly. U.S. officials testified that another $38 million in COVID payments, an average of $83,000 per person, went to people that the government knew were dead. The figures came from these people also, they were getting rewarded for voting for Biden.
Well, I was going to say, was that the reward for the votes?
For the Biden voters. The figures came from the special task force Congress authorized to track the payments. $10 million were paid to individuals who were already dead on the date someone applied for funding, so you had people committing fraud, which we knew would happen. Government doled out $1.3 million to 30 individuals who were dead for at least a year. Wow. What fraud inspectors deemed one of the particularly egregious examples. So U.S. new $1.4 billion was sent out to more than 1 million Americans who filed taxes in the previous years and then died, yet still received checks intended as COVID stimulus. Now, typically it's on you to send it back when you see it in your dead relative's account.
Yeah.
But how many people did that?
Clearly none.
How many people wrote themselves a check off their relative's old checkbook?
Endorsed it right there. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay to the order of.
Yeah, took it to the mobile check deposit and nothing happened. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, man. That's your taxpayer dollars hard at work, folks.
There we go. That's what we. I'm glad that
that's where it went.
I'm glad I work a quarter of the year for free to pay for lobster tanks.
That's really nice.
And COVID money. Well, that's the thing is the COVID money. They didn't even raise our taxes for that. They just jacked inflation up.
Yep.
So you're not
making everything cost more.
They're not taking that out of your paycheck. You're paying for that every time you go to the grocery store.
Yeah, they're collecting that in their sales tax.
Yeah, exactly. What do we got next here? We've got. Military equipment, that's always getting ruined. Yeah, so they've destroyed millions and millions of dollars worth of military equipment just from poor handling.
Sure.
Obviously, we've got the COVID. What else has he got here? Meth head monkeys. We just covered that one. Here we go. Every year, the IRS reroutes incoming tax payments to a fund set aside for U.S. presidential campaigns. Which who donates to that? I get that every year I file my taxes. Do you want to donate to the presidential reelection?
No,
who says yes?
I do not. Why would you do that?
Why would anyone do that? Why?
I don't know.
Because you have to register your dogs. Yeah. I went on to register my dog at the Humane Society, and it goes, "Would you like to add a donation on top of this?" I'm like, I'm registering my dog. You're going to do nothing with this. It's just another way to shake me down. And then you have the nerve to ask for a tip.
Right. You're literally taking my money and asking me for a tip.
It's like I rob you at gunpoint. Hey, come on.
You got
pretty courteous here.
Yeah, at least I didn't shoot you.
Yeah, come on, man. I shot you in the leg, okay?
Yeah.
So since 2008, no major party's political candidate has accepted the funds. As of November 1st, 2023, $400.6 million sat aside unused in the campaign fund account. Why do we provide unused and unnecessary welfare for politicians? Yeah, that's exactly it. So why are you're contributing with your tax dollars for a re-election campaign? I mean, it's I have no idea what we're doing here. Next up, 2 laboratory monkeys at the University of Minnesota faced high stakes as their access to drinking water hung in the balance, contingent upon their willingness to embrace what researchers termed gambling. To study the region of the brain that impacts risk-taking choices, parts of monkey skulls were removed, and their brains were injected with tracers and monitored as they gambled between 2 different options presented to them on screens. So $1.8 million grant to $1.9 million grant from the Institute of Mental Health, $1.8 million from the Institute of Drug Abuse to study the gambling habits of monkeys.
Gee, crickets. I got 3 bananas. 3 bananas right here. Come on, Kiwi. What are they doing with these monkeys, man? Like, so I get it. Why would they want to understand is it to prevent gambling or to avoid gambling addiction?
To study the gambling addiction? I don't know. I mean,
like, are they studying to figure out how to make people more addicted to gambling?
This was funded by MGM Grant.
Right.
This study brought to you by Caesars.
The Flamingo in Las Vegas.
So here we go. So SBA's $200 million ticket to Backstage. When local concerts and family-owned theaters were forced to shut down during the pandemic, financial relief was left to the SBA. The Shuttered Venue Operators Grant Program was supposed to, which, I mean, we dealt with that firsthand. How many venues did we see shut
All
down?
Of them.
Tons of them.
The one we saw some venues go that were super cool spots, man, and it's too bad.
And like the ones that stuck around got sold.
They got sold, and they're struggling to come back to life still.
Yeah, our home venue got sold. I mean, some things worked out for the better, but nonetheless.
We're still struggling to come back to life over there, though.
It's tough.
It's tough. The whole COVID crisis had an impact on our society that I don't think we've realized yet. But it surely made people antisocial. People don't want to go out anymore. People are not, and it's because they forgot how to be excellent to each other. They did. Like they don't know how to be nice to people anymore.
They did.
It's
people
crazy.
Have been so rude
everywhere.
Grocery stores.
Everywhere.
I mean, I'm walking out of a gig last night, and there's an Uber picking these girls up. And, I mean, they're drunk, right? They're
obviously,
drunk, mid-20s girls. And she's walking by this car, and this car, the Uber driver, he's just sitting there waiting for his passenger. And he stopped, and she walks by and slaps his hood and goes, "You gonna run me over, motherfucker?"
Holy crap.
And part of that's being rude. Part of that's, I'm a young girl. No one's going to do it. Because a guy does that, he's going to get the shit beat out of him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But a girl does that. I can do whatever I want. I mean, I was downtown not too long ago. This guy pulls up. I mean, he was over the crosswalk, but it's not a big deal. Walk around him. And this homeless guy's in front of me, goes up behind the driver's side door, comes around the car, gets in his face on the driver's side window and goes, "You're in a crosswalk, motherfucker." And that's how you get shot.
Right?
I'm stuck at a light.
Right.
You're in my face on the drive. Come up behind me.
Let's go.
That's how you get shot.
Yeah.
People, they're so rude.
They've lost their minds.
They're so rude.
Yeah.
And
I think we're seeing it everywhere. We're seeing it in the kids. We're seeing it in adults.
The development kids have lost.
It's terrible. It's terrible. These kids are making a progress, though. I've seen vast improvement. But it's still a long way to go.
They got a long way to catch up.
And there's no reinforcement at home because the adults are out of their minds too.
Well, it's that, and I mean, these kids caught the perfect storm. I feel bad for them because not only did they have the setback in development from the COVID shit.
Yep.
This is also the first generation that grew up with smartphones in grade school.
Yep.
And everything is online and video games and all. Like I'm a younger millennial. We were really the last generation that didn't grow up with cell phones in middle school or smartphones in middle school.
You weren't born with them in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I've literally seen infants staring at a smartphone.
For these kids. It's another organ for these kids.
It's all it is. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a part of their hand. They don't know what else to do. So they have no social skills. I mean, you'll go to like the drive-through, and you'll get these kids. Yeah. There's just nothing there.
Nothing.
It's not like talking to a stupid person.
No.
There's something else going on. There's like talking to a
no
wall.
emotion. Yeah.
There's no emotion.
No emotion. Yeah. Literally just going through motions.
It's so many of them. Right. So even like the popular kids, there's nothing there.
And what I find really interesting is when you are expressing things like gratitude to them, they don't know how to accept it. You say thank you, and they're like, and it's like they don't know how to respond to people are nice.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
And it's even sadder when you see them try to be human.
Right.
Because they know that
what they're supposed to do.
We're not that taken away from nature yet.
No, not
It's
yet.
in our bones, it's in our soul and our core. They know that the way they feel and the way they act isn't right, but they just haven't been trained on how to do it properly.
Right.
They have no idea.
Right.
That's the worst part is when you see them try to show some human emotion.
Right.
I read an article the other day. It said 83% of Gen Zers experience anxiety ordering food at a restaurant.
Yeah.
36% of them have other people order for them. This is Gen Z, mind you, is like 16 to 25, right?
I have a 16-year-old at home that is just now coming into a point where they can order for themselves at a restaurant.
Jesus.
It's crazy, right? Yeah. And it's I'm not shy. My wife's not shy. Yeah. We're pretty outgoing people. It's just the society these kids are growing up into.
My wife is shy. She's not a talker.
No,
she's not
seriously,
a talker. If we have any type of confrontation, I handle that, right?
Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't get it. I showed her that, and she's like, I don't even get anxiety ordering at restaurants.
Sure.
It's you order the food.
Yep.
You give them. They're getting paid to take your order.
Yep.
And you're done. That's it.
You give these Gen Zers an iPad to order their food on, and they're in seventh heaven.
Yeah.
Or those kiosks at McDonald's.
Yep.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you've taken that challenge of their life away from them.
Yep.
So how they're not going to learn those interactions?
Yeah. Well, and they don't talk on the phone. We sound like old men.
Technically, I am a grandpa, Caleb, right?
So
I get away with it.
You are a grandpa.
And you're old by association.
I am closer to 30 than I am 25, so it's all... Spending
the last couple of years being a business partner has aged you.
Dude, just the last couple of years have aged me.
Yeah, no, dude. Yeah.
So anyway, back to the $200 million for SBA loans for venues that were struggling, right? Most of that didn't go to the small venues that we saw get wiped out. Here's a list of people that got money from the SBA's attempt to help out live music. So we've got $10 million to Post Malone, who needed it.
He needed
another
obviously.
$20 million to his management company.
Oh, good.
Chris Brown, $10 million, which he needed for legal fees with Rihanna. Slipknot, 9.7. Steve Aoki, 9.9. Korn, 5.3. Lil Wayne, 8.9 million. Smashing Pumpkins, 8.6. Nickelback, 2 million. Melissa Etheridge, 3.9. Common, 2. I mean, Usher, 3.1 million. Vampire Weekend, that's how I know I'm getting old. I don't know who the hell that is. 8.3 million. I mean, these are.
I'm glad to see Nickelback still on the list.
Nickelback may have needed the money.
Right, $2 million. They may be the only one you listed that really could use that cash.
Creed got the money, but he needed it to eat.
In fact, didn't Nickelback just come out with a new album? I think that's funded by U.S. taxpayers. Why didn't they pull a U2 and just force it on our phones?
They should have done that. It would be smart. Next up, Dr. Fauci, $477,121 to study transgender monkeys. So he managed to take a break from torturing puppies and studying dangerous diseases in labs. Yeah. And he spent $477,000 at a lab in Florida to feminize male monkeys. That's right, the forced feminization of male monkeys. Utilizing taxpayer funds from NIAID, a Florida lab, set out to examine what would happen if female hormones were given to male monkeys. If you're a scientist that wants to study this on his own dime, go ahead.
Yeah.
I get it.
Have fun.
Yeah, have fun. Why do we have to pay for this? The lab worked to make male monkeys, or male lab monkeys, transgender to address social injustices suffered by transgender persons, such as individuals who are assigned a male set at birth but express their gender along a female spectrum. How would that address
any of that?
None of that. Critics,
I mean, you're altering it. You're manipulating the hormones.
They just throw the monkeys in a cage and call them a faggot and see if they kill
see how they respond.
Give them a rope and just call them.
I had this vision where he's like dressing up. You know, remember in movie E.T. where E.T.'s all dressed up with the wig and he's got them all dressed up and drag all the time.
The trans shit didn't start with Bruce Jenner. It was E.T.
E.T. started it all. You know what though? My kids and I had a really deep conversation. We don't know if E.T. is a boy or a girl. I mean, E.T. doesn't have an E.T.
They
pee-pee.
call him he though.
He does. Yeah, they do refer to him as he, but all the main character is also he, so it's self-identifying. But we made the joke that we never did see an E.T. pee-pee, so we don't know. So we don't know.
I mean, I feel like E.T. is a boy's name.
Yeah, it's gotta be
just like God.
Right.
Boy's name, man's name.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so this list, I mean, there's a lot of monkeys. They 2014, they also spent $171,000 on gambling monkeys. Again, they're really into gambling
trans
monkeys,
sleep cycles of monkeys,
meth head monkeys. Yeah.
What are they creating? Are they creating an army of monkeys?
It could be an army
gambler,
of monkeys.
degenerate monkeys.
They'll take some of them. That's what they're doing. They're weeding them out. They'll get the transgender monkeys. They'll get the meth head monkeys and the gambler monkeys, and they'll take the strongest from each group, and they're going to just make these super monkeys, and then they'll make them hybrids with humans, and that's how we're going to fight Russia.
Okay.
With transgender, gambling addict, meth head, human monkey hybrids.
Human monkey hybrids. I love it. And the next Planet of the Apes is going to be lit.
It's going to be a wild one. Can you imagine these the method? But instead of like attacking the humans, they just steal their copper pipes.
Right. They're just out there stealing their copper.
Like my
catalytic converters are all gone from the tanks, man. How are we going to drive?
Damn monkeys. That's how they fight, is they take the catalytic converters and they take all the copper pipes to hit their infrastructure. And then the transgender and the gambler monkeys attack, and that's how they fight.
They go in there throwing grenades like dice.
Yep. That's how the movie goes. That'd be a good Planet of the Apes.
We're gonna give those rights right now. We're gonna write those out.
I think we should. I'm gonna go sell this. Yeah, that's all right. Next up here, we've got Nebraska, where we're from. The governor who you ran against, and you were robbed of 400,000 votes.
497,000 votes unaccounted for in the state of Nebraska.
That's
man.
how it was. It was complete
all those
robbery.
ballots had my name on them, man, and they all either didn't vote or all of those ballots disappeared. I believe they all disappeared.
I think dead people voted for Pillin' and Blood.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's what happened.
All right. At least they're at very least they're dead inside.
So yeah, exactly. So we've got the federal government sent out aid, and this was leftover money from the COVID stuff.
Yep,
right?
It's already bought and paid for.
And this is the second round of these.
Yep.
The last time they took it and built a prison, right?
Yep.
I mean, never mind the fact the economy sucks. This money, it's not, and we're not talking printing money.
Nope.
This is money that's accounted for. It's
bought
gone.
and paid for already.
If we take it, we use it. If we don't take it, the money's gone.
We lose it.
It's gone. The inflation effect has already happened. It's just gone. And I'm not one to give out handouts here from the federal government, but this is money that's gone. It's like my great grandma used to give me money for Christmas every year, and I wouldn't want to take it, right? But my dad was finally like, she likes to give you this money. She's already accounted for it to be gone. Just take the money, right?
Yep.
It was like $10.
It means more to her that you have it.
It means more to her that, yeah, exactly. And that's not quite the same scenario, I guess. But still, that's money that's gone. She's written it off. She doesn't expect to have it. So just take it, right? So, so we got federal grocery aid coming in, which I love how the Biden administration is saying, hey, the economy's getting better, inflation's down at quote-unquote record lows, even though they changed how they calculated it at the beginning of the year. Yep. They won't tell you that. They're talking about how the prices are going down and the economy's so great, yet they still feel the need to send out grocery aid. Federal grocery.
I could use it.
Yeah, I mean, we all could. Everybody could.
Everybody could benefit from that.
Everyone could benefit from it. So this is money that's already been accounted for. In the state of Nebraska, Iowa did the same thing. They said, we're not going to do it. So it's not a ton of money. It's like $120 a person gets sent out on a Visa card.
Yeah.
And his concern with that is that it could be used on junk food.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, maybe it would. I'm sure it would be for a lot of people. And they do already have EBT for poor people.
I would argue that if you're buying groceries in a grocery store, everything you're buying is junk
mostly
food.
junk.
Most of it's already junk food.
If you're at a point where you need government assistance to buy groceries, you are buying junk food.
You are buying junk food. Because that's the cheapest. That's what you can afford to buy.
Yeah. I mean, we're not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but we try to get Whole Foods, not the grocery store Whole Foods, but Whole Foods, like meats. And so we try to get stuff that doesn't have, we try to go to butchers and places
the
like that.
stuff.
We don't shop a lot at grocery stores. There's a few things we'll get there, but we're fortunate enough we can afford to not buy crap. If you're receiving government benefits, it's all junk food. It's
almost
poison.
all of it. Yeah,
it's poison. I mean, why can bread sit on your counter for 2 months and not get moldy now?
Yeah, dude, that's weird.
That's in my lifetime. That wasn't a thing.
That's weird.
It's within the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
What are they putting in there? It's not good for you.
Whatever it is, it's not good.
No, it's horrible for you. Well, my wife wants to learn how to make her own bread. So
I love it.
Yeah, we got the trad wife thing going on.
I love it. You know what, man? Making bread is good. It's a big process, though.
It's a process. It's way better for you than the shit you get in the store, though.
Always, yeah.
It is. Well, I mean,
but it's not really practical or economical for larger families and that kind of stuff.
Poor people that need money.
Right?
No, it's not for them.
They gotta go buy a bread maker. You know what I mean? It's like
so you're buying shit no matter what, right?
Always.
$120. I mean, it's really not a ton of money, especially today. What you can buy a gallon of milk now.
Yeah.
You can buy a gallon.
$4.75.
Yeah, so they're denying the money, and it would be distributed to 150,000 low-income children, or buying the food, 150,000 low-income children in Nebraska who experience food insecurity in the summer months.
Yeah,
because I mean,
when kids all fuck them kids.
When kids aren't going to school, they're not eating lunch. Obviously,
no.
during the summer months. So
although the big public school here in where we're at. Does a summer food program.
There's a lot of them
where the kids can show up and get lunches, lunch for free every day at school, Monday through Friday. They can eat lunch there, and then they'll send them home with a food bag. And you know what? It's like one of those things. When I first got into education, I was like, I saw that happening. I'm like, really? We need to feed these kids?
Yeah,
it seems like a big waste. But now that I'm in it, and I've seen it for years and years, food insecurity is a serious problem.
Oh, 100%
in our children,
and it's
today.
only getting worse because as the economy gets worse,
it's terrible.
Yeah,
it's terrifying.
It's terrifying. I mean, and we've talked about this too. I mean, you're talking. They're saying after the holidays, we're going to be encroaching $1.5 trillion in credit card debt.
It's insane.
Nationally.
It's
$1.5 trillion in credit card debt. And here's what's happening, though, is I have a friend who works, and I'm not going to say who he is or where he works for one of the card processing companies that deals with card processing specifically for apartment complexes and rental properties.
Okay.
They have seen a 100% increase over the last year in payments through and so think about this, because we can pay our rent on this payment processing thing too. There's a 5% fee. If I send it through ACH, the fee is 75 cents.
Right.
Or I can go to the gas station and get a money order for 50 cents.
Right.
Right? The only reason you're opting to pay a 5% fee on your credit card to pay your rent is if you don't have the money.
You don't have the cash
so
on hand.
So people are maxing their credit. They're not maxing their credit cards out on vacation or Christmas presents.
Nope.
They're doing it on basic survival
groceries.
Mechanisms. But we've
gas.
never had a better economy,
Rent.
Joe. Yeah, rent, exactly. And it's not just that. It's home equity lines of credit.
All
People
of it.
are risking their houses.
Can you
401k
imagine?
withdrawals are at an all-time high. You don't borrow off your retirement unless you're desperate.
I was looking at doing equity, but the interest rates right now are almost 3 times as much as what I'm paying.
Insane.
And so if I had to do a refi, I would bounce everything out of there. And it's like, I am not doing that.
Which, I mean, if you're not taking it, if you're renting right now, no, you shouldn't be buying a house. No,
do not.
You shouldn't
do
be
that
buying a house.
now.
If you're renting right now, though, and you're not taking advantage of this, you should be sticking money away into savings. And I'm not a financial advisor, I have to say. You should be sticking money into like Edward Jones high-yield savings accounts. I mean, because you might as well get something. Like, that's what we've started doing.
Right.
Is we're sticking money. I mean, we're like, we can sit this money under our mattress or in a normal savings account, or we can call our financial advisor up and stick it.
Camp it somewhere.
We're taking advantage of the high interest rates. Yeah. So if you're trying to buy a house, you're getting screwed by the interest rates. But if you're saving money, you're making a little bit more. And it's not a ton. But it's a couple $100 a month in our pocket that we're not paying for, and we're not paying taxes on. You know, so it's like
it's just so hard to save in this economy. Like you can't. And again, that was an old man to say. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go grandpa on you guys.
No,
it's so hard to save in this economy.
It is. People have to pick between paying their credit cards off or saving money.
Yeah.
And it's all by design, folks. They've done all this shit to destroy the economy.
They want it to crumble.
The Great Reset. You'll own nothing and you'll like it. You'll own nothing and you'll like it. Yep, they want you weak. They want you out of work. Well, not out of work, but working meaningless jobs that are just enough to get by.
Yep.
They want to destroy the economy and rebuild it in their communist authoritarian mindset.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They've outlined it. You'll own nothing and you'll like it by the year 2035.
Right.
That's what they've said. Wow, we got off on a tangent there. Had nothing to do with federal.
It's bound to happen when we get in a room.
That's what happens. Yeah. But no, it's true. It's important, and that's. I mean, to loop it back, as someone who identifies as conservative, this really doesn't do a lot. This Jim Pillen thing for the whole careless, selfish, out of touch Republicans.
I'm as fiscal conservative as the next guy. But this is a program that's been bought and paid for. Yep. We've already hit the brunt of that. We're paying for that today in our economy. Yep. Making it go away does not make bread cheaper or gas cheaper. This is money that can truly benefit families that are struggling.
It's $300.
And this guy literally is going to take that political positioning and be like, nope.
That's a losing issue.
Forget them kids.
That's the problem is, well, I mean, $300,000 a year.
This is what people voted for. They voted for this guy.
Yeah. Well, the federal government pays more money a year to study transgender monkeys than it would to fund this program. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
More to study transgender, gambling addicted, meth head monkeys than to fund this program.
Maybe they're getting these monkeys geared up to work in the grocery stores.
They might be. They may need them.
I don't know.
People are going to start killing
I don't know.
It's just crazy to me. I don't understand this. I don't see where they're coming from here, and that's my problem with the Republican Party is everyone was freaking out about in 2022 the midterm losses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys don't get it. You identify yourself with losing issues.
Every time.
I'm not pro-choice. Abortion's a losing issue. This is a losing issue. Screwing kids over is a losing issue. There are some battles that are, unfortunately, we can have this conversation later when we get rid of the psychopaths in D.C. that are intentionally destroying the country. There are some issues we need to set to the side, and I know that's not a popular opinion, but there are some things that it's just, okay, we're going to take this, we're going to bite the bullet on this one so we can push the greater good.
Yeah, so we can move forward.
Exactly. It's craziness. Insanity. All right. Speaking of insanity, Trump is considering Nikki Haley
Great
for his
lead-in,
VP.
man.
Yeah, I know, right? We love the segues here. Yeah. Trump's considering adding Nikki Haley as his VP. This comes a month after he referred to her as Bird Brain.
Bird Brain.
Bird Brain Haley.
So I think he did that specifically to see what kind of fortitude Vivek has, man, because that guy's clearly vying for a VP job.
Vivek, see, I'm 50-50 on Vivek. Vivek is either
he's not my guy,
the one who's going to save this country, or he's the fucking Antichrist, and there's no in between.
Either way, there's no in between.
So he's considering. I think what he's doing is he's floating the idea now.
Yep.
So his base will have the natural negative reaction that they should have.
Yes.
She's a war criminal.
Yes.
And so that way he can say, when everyone's pressuring him to nominate her, look how unpopular she was. Half my base won't vote for me if I nominate her.
Right.
That's what I think. That's what he's
totally
doing.
A game. Yeah, for sure.
I think that's what he's doing. I don't know. I think it'll be. I don't feel like it'll be Vivek because I think Vivek takes too much attention away.
Agreed.
That's what everyone's saying. Vivek, Tucker Carlson. He won't get either of those guys.
Trump will go somebody vanilla.
He'll get someone vanilla that's loyal to him.
Industry.
Yeah.
Career politician somewhere in there.
Yeah. But loyal to him nonetheless. But he doesn't want
100%.
someone that's going to take the focus off of him.
Right.
I saw someone say Andrew Tate. I'm like,
wow.
No chance.
Wow.
He'd have more attention on him than Trump. If Andrew Tate was the VP, could you imagine?
Wouldn't it be wild if Trump picked Hunter Biden? Wouldn't it be wild?
What a fuck you.
Sorry, man.
8-dimensional chess.
Yes.
Well, that's Well, did you hear after he called her Bird Brain, his campaign mailed a bird cage to her?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it's that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's that kind of shit that he does. And it was in 2016 when that Benghazi movie came out, and he rented out a bunch of theaters to show it.
Yes.
And it was just like,
it's like, here you go.
Just little things like that it make it hard. I mean, he's a jackass, he's a meatball, but it's hard not to like him when he does stuff like that.
It's hard not to laugh about it when you have a cynicism about yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, when you're already cynical about the system and watching him just be a disruptor in that system, it's entertaining.
Well,
for
he
sure.
was. And that's what a lot of people voted for him, not because they agreed with his policies.
because they wanted to see what was going to happen next.
They're like, okay, I've lived under the status quo my entire life.
Absolutely.
It's done nothing but screw me over.
Yep.
My economically, it's just getting worse and worse and harder to get by as a middle-class American. We're dwindling away. I have nothing to lose. I'm going to roll the dice. And that's why when people tell me Obama was a good president, I'm like, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Because if Obama was a good president, Hillary Clinton would have won in 2016.
Yes.
Because Hillary Clinton was promising to continue the exact same policies Obama.
Yep.
She was going to be another 4 years of Obama.
Yep.
And they elected the polar opposite. The people spoke.
Extreme opposite
That's your
direction.
report card. People did not like Obama. If they liked Obama, they would have elected Hillary Clinton. And that's what it was. That was just a grade on him. More than
lock her up.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, well, which never happened. And then Trump stabbed a lot of these people in the back. They never got most. They didn't get most of what he promised.
None of it.
He sold out.
Yes.
I mean, it was to the military industrial
Again, that's
complex.
just back to. I know he goes as the anti-establishment guy, but he's just another politician like the rest of them. He doesn't give a shit about anybody.
He's been in the game for decades.
He doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself and his pocketbook.
No, and that's such a weird thing to me when we talk about like civil war over the court decisions and stuff. I'm like.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm frustrated with it too. It's bullshit. I know people on the left, right, center, everywhere that think it's bullshit.
Yep.
But Donald Trump let how many people sit in jail over January 6th and didn't pardon them because he didn't want to hurt his re-election chances in 2024.
Absolutely.
You're going to go take a bullet and go to jail for this guy. Like that's
I wouldn't know.
No, he wouldn't do it for you. And he shouldn't do it for me.
No.
Like, I don't expect that.
Right.
But, like that's the frustration there, and that's where it gets tough. Because I mean, at the same time, though, it's like if they're going to be able to jack the democracy or jack our republic like that, and just remove people from ballots like it's communist Russia, I mean, at what point do we got to do something? Not for Donald Trump, but for the republic.
For us, for what the United States of America is supposed to be.
The Constitution.
We've gone so far away from that.
Yeah.
And it all trickles back to the two-party regime. It's two
the
parties.
Uniparty.
It's the uniparty.
Yeah.
It's really just the rich and the powerful staying rich and powerful. They're only patting each other's backs. You know, you talk about Biden is a stupid choice to run for president.
Absolutely.
The Democrats are idiots for running him, and I don't mind saying that.
Yeah, no, it's horrible.
I've said it. I'll say it to your face, okay?
Biden,
and if you disagree with me, you have to disagree with me saying, well, he's better than Trump. Yeah. You have to disagree with me, and because Biden has been a terrible president.
He's awful. Worse than my lifetime.
And there has got to be, but you hear from the insiders that there's a distinct wall that normal people can't break through, that in the National Democratic Party, that they keep those people at bay to take care of their elite class.
Yep. Well, they have the superdelegates.
The superdelegates.
Yep. And that's how they prevent a Donald Trump from happening.
Absolutely.
Yep. It's all fixed. It's all fixed. At least in the Republican Party, there's a chance you could rise up.
Dude, if the Democrats gave me somebody to vote for, I would vote Democrat. I wouldn't even think twice. I have no problem with the Democratic Party and what they're doing. It's your leadership that has failed all of us.
It's the leadership.
And it's the same thing with the Republican Party. Man, give me a candidate
like
I can get behind and I'll vote. Somebody, right?
Like a Ron Paul, somebody
give me
like
a candidate I can vote for, but you're so entrenched in your political ideologies that you're not connecting with people.
Yeah.
The people that need you.
Yeah. So I don't know if...
So we need to stop needing them is the problem.
Yeah. Well, so like you said, Biden's the worst president we've had, right?
Ever.
Yeah,
in my lifetime,
he's
hands
worst.
down.
And you lived through Carter, so that's saying something.
I lived through Carter, Reagan.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, Clinton,
both
Bush,
the Bushes.
Bush, all
both
of them.
the Bushes.
That's so.
I met the first one. That was a good time. Yeah.
Where'd you meet him at?
They gave a speech in Lincoln.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. My grandma took me. It was really neat meet and greet. Nice. It was like that's what got me sparked into politics. I mean, that was the pivotal moment in my life where I was like, bro, I could do that. I was like 10.
I saw Bush Jr. speak in Iowa in 2004, and that was kind of what sparked me. It was just interesting from just watching the election, even if you don't care who wins or whatever. Just from the perspective of seeing how it all works and all the moving parts, it just interested me, and that's kind of I was like 10 years old. That's right.
Pivotal times,
right?
Exactly.
That's
about the same with
critical.
With his daddy.
Exactly. Where you're thinking, like that's where your mind's being developed, or nowadays where you're watching Netflix and your iPad.
Right. Right.
But yeah, no. So he's been the worst president of our lifetime. There's no question about that. My question is he in his administration, because he's not doing anything.
Well, if you follow his career, he's been the worst politician in our lifetime.
He's horrible.
Yeah, everything he's done has either been a lie or to benefit his circle.
Him. Yeah,
his circle.
He's never had a real job.
Never.
He's a fucking loser. He basically got handed his Senate seat.
Absolutely.
He's a liar. He's a loser. My favorite thing was where he was talking about the gay couple that he saw when he was a little kid in Scranton, Pennsylvania, a real blue-collar factory town.
Yeah.
And he said he saw this gay couple walking by holding hands, and he asked his dad what that was, and his dad went into this long diatribe about how important it is to be inclusive and accepting, and I'm like, in the 50s in Scranton.
In the 50s
No,
in
your
Scranton,
dad,
PA.
if two guys were walking holding hands, if they had the balls to do that in public, your dad would have called him a faggot and probably assaulted them.
Yeah.
That's
little we know that this is where the riff with Corn Pop started.
That was right where the corn.
Yeah, he went to go try hold Corn Pop's hand. From then on, they were a natural enemies.
Corn Pop was a real guy, though.
Yeah, I know.
Corn Pop was a real guy. They found his obituary. Poor Corn Pop.
Oh my gosh,
can't even defend himself.
Can't even.
But yeah, so my question.
You got that? Can you imagine being the guy that the president's out here talking shit about you?
Imagine being like Corn Pop's kids.
Right.
That's my dad.
Right.
But yeah, so
Corn Puff and Corn.
Corn Puff and Corn Flake. Yeah,
Corn Flake.
Frosted Flakes. That's his bastard son from another relationship.
He's the gay one.
That's the gay one. Yeah,
he's Frosted.
Frosted Flakes. Yeah. There's his whore daughter. Yeah. So, Mike, the $1 million question is, obviously, like we've established, he's been a disaster. Is this administration really that bad at their job, or are we just back on track for the way things were intended to go? I mean, things were kind of getting. I mean, it was. I guess you could say it was somewhat stable toward the end of Obama, but we were always going down this path. This was always the end game. Yeah. Are we just finally at the inevitable conclusion, and we had a little bit of a disruption for 4 years with Trump? And I think that's pretty much it. I think this is by design. Right. I think they're doing this on purpose. The last, 3 or 4 regimes have been doing this on purpose.
Absolutely.
They all serve somebody much greater than, much more powerful, and much richer than them. Yeah. So I think
the Illuminati, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I mean, they're just.
No, and in fact, I think the Illuminati's been ousted, and that's why we're experiencing all this trouble, man. I think they took that
personal,
that dark shadow government, and they've quarantined them. They broke them off somewhere.
Yeah. Well, there is a shadow government. I just don't know.
Because I feel like the Illuminati really did have our best interests at heart. I really do.
I don't know if there is a shadow government. I don't think it's guys in hoods.
Right,
I think it's intelligence agencies, pharmaceutical companies,
it's
defense contractors.
It's money dudes. It's money dudes.
Big money guys.
It's
they
money
just want to
dudes.
run the country. They want to run the world.
They want to run the world.
World Economic Forum, right?
Yeah.
All right, next up. Well, this is local, not local, but a little bit more central. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards. He's a Democrat. He is on his way out of office. Has pardoned 56 people. 40 of them are convicted murderers. One of them is a guy who stabbed a store worker 39 times to death. So the Louisiana governor is trying to get people out of prisons because they're the prison capital of the USA, which I understand. There's a lot of people in prison that they could either be on parole and they'd be fine, or maybe they shouldn't be locked up at all. But I feel like you don't start with murderers.
Yeah, I don't think that's the best starting point.
That's like, hey, honey, we're spending too much money. We need to cut back in budget. Let's stop eating food.
Yeah, let's stop feeding the kids.
Let's stop paying our mortgage.
Yeah, let's start there. Let's stop paying the mortage.
Not Netflix.
Right.
Not eating out.
No, God, not McDonald's.
Yep. Not eating out. Not concerts and bars.
Why didn't he accept that federal money for COVID and build a new prison like we did? We should have just followed our lead, man.
Money and built a prison. That's exactly what they should have been.
No, prison overpopulation is a huge problem in our country, bro. And I'm not sure what the mentality is from like deciding that these murderers are the ones that need to be free.
I feel like there's other people that could have gotten it.
I think that there's got to be auto thieves at least, or
car thieves.
I think I call them non-violent crimes. You can't call them victimless crimes, but non-violent crimes. Car thieves, shoplifters. Loan shark stuff. You know what I mean? The people that are in there, and for some reason they're not out, but now all of a sudden these
people. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is, it's like
make it make sense.
He didn't extradite their sentences. He pardoned them.
They're just free.
You're free.
They don't exist.
Never did it,
and you'll never know they were a felon again.
And that's what leads me to is, again, I can think of no reason to release 40 convicted murderers. And I mean, this isn't a gang shooting. The guy stabbed a store worker 39 times. That's someone who's devoid of humanity.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You release 40 convicted murderers. I can think of no reason other than the fact that we're in a controlled demolition why a reasonable person would do that. It just like we want to create chaos.
Or maybe it's about budgets, man. Maybe they're trying to get more law enforcement budget, and then if you increase
it could be that
violent crime in the area, you can request more federal aid and law enforcement.
Yep. Or you can jack the murder rate up and say, look at the gun violence problem. We need to control these guns.
Control. Common sense. There's no such thing.
Yeah. So it says there are how many people are in
common
prison?
Sense gun control means go to the range at least once a week.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to Google how many people imprisoned in Louisiana. And we'll see what they say. So there are 31 at the state of Louisiana. This isn't county jail.
The state
of Louisiana. So we have 31,609 people. This is 2019, so it's a little bit outdated. But regardless, they've got about 1,094 per 100,000 people in the state of Louisiana are in prison. That's over 1% of their population is in prison. That's a lot, right?
Wow.
So that's no joke. As Joe Biden would say, not a joke. But of the 31,609, I feel like there would have been 40 people who were more deserving than convicted murderers. Call me crazy. There could be.
You would hope.
Meth heads stealing catalytic converters.
Yeah.
I mean,
let them out.
Loan sharking.
Let them
drug
out.
dealers that weren't selling,
let them
fentanyl
out.
and shit.
Let
the guy who was selling pot, cocaine.
The pound of weed guy. Let him out.
The weed guy. Let him out. Exactly. There could have been.
I'd even let the car thief out.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly. He steals a car again.
Just put an ankle bracelet on him.
Yeah, and but that's the thing. He's not just releasing these guys; he's pardoning them.
They're just done. Their crime is done.
You go to apply for a job; it doesn't pop up in your background check.
You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, so I mean, you got a guy that maybe he killed his wife. He can go work at a battered women's shelter now.
Sure,
that's pedophile.
I don't feel like that would be a good gig for that guy, but I mean, like everyone deserves to be happy, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Everyone deserves to be happy.
Pedophile can go work at a guy.
Daycare.
Yeah,
daycare
now.
Go hang out at a daycare.
It's completely insane. All right, we got 2 more, and then we'll get you out of here, man. We're pushing on that hour time.
All right.
I got Christmas shopping to do, so I don't know about you.
I got a gig this afternoon. So
who are you playing? Or where are you playing?
I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
I'm dressing up like Santa Claus.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the beard, so I could see.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. I went out and I got invested in a pretty deluxe suit, man. And
now, is this like a private event or?
This is me popping up on a roof.
Oh, okay, cool.
And the kid's gonna catch me. So.
Oh, cool,
yeah,
nice.
It's gonna be really cool.
Is this part of your Festivus celebration?
Yes, this is part of my Festivus gig, and then the kids and I are gonna go Christmas caroling tonight.
Okay, I thought you were like someone hired you for like a company party. You're
no, not tonight.
Santa. I'm like, well, if you're gonna be a mall Santa, you got to do the full experience. You need to smell like whiskey.
Yeah, I'm not a mall Santa, no, like but I do rock it. I have it, and anybody that knows me will tell you I kind of have that jovial personality.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. You can do Santa.
I'm good at it, dude. And the
kids
really well. And the kids are always have been drawn to me anyway, so it's kind of a natural magical experience. So this year I invested in the costume, so next year check it out. You can hire Mr. Z. I'll do all your corporate events.
You should get like a web Facebook page or something.
And if we want to get with it, Santa can show up and do a dirty comedy set.
That would be hilarious.
Clean comedy set. It'd be good times, right?
That'd be hilarious.
So hit me up at Mr. Z Comedy.
There you go. You should start selling it on Facebook. You should.
Right.
And I'll be the elf. No, I'm kidding. I'm too tall. Would that be funny if the elf was
too tall for the elf, man?
You get Mia. Mia could be an elf. You get the ears. That'd be cute.
I got munchkins that can be elves. It's
even
fine.
better.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So here we've got. This is Yahoo News, and we were talking. I said we were going to get into this earlier on in the show. Yahoo News says chart of the week: prices actually went down. They didn't just get lower. So here we are, back to their campaign strategy going into 2024, which is don't believe your lying eyes.
Don't believe.
It got lower. What are you talking? We're in deflation.
Right.
It's not even inflation. I got coffee creamer 2 months ago, $6. I got it at the store, $7 now.
$7 now.
But that's lower. $7 is less than $6.
I got bread Friday. It was $2.75 a loaf at one point in time.
Yeah.
Not too recently, not too far away.
Yeah.
And this week it was $4. Over $4, $4.05 for a loaf of freaking bread. The same bread.
Yep.
Same store.
Crazy. It's complete. No, it's seriously. It's just Biden, because he tried to roll out the Bidenomics thing, right? Jeez. So he tried to roll out the Bidenomics thing, and that backfired because it became a joke. Yeah, the economy's shit. Yeah, everyone looks around, and basically where they're at right now is they know everything's been a failure. All they can do at this point is just gaslight people and say you're just dumb. You're being greedy.
Right. You're making things up. That's not more expensive.
Yeah. It went from there is no inflation to, well, inflation's here, but it's not that bad, to, well, yeah, inflation's at record highs, but it's actually good.
Right.
And then I saw one recently, an article that said inflation is rising and it's your fault. It's my fault.
My fault now.
My fault. Yeah. How dare you want to eat?
The freaking government's like a narcissist spouse, man.
Yeah. So it says, as Bloomberg as well says, prices fell in November for the first time in more than 3 years. The latest sign of inflation is easing and moving towards the Federal Reserve's target. The personal consumption expenditures price index, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, declined 0.1 from the previous month. 0.1% from the previous month. 0.1 since April. It rose 2.6 on the year. So it's a lie. It's a lie. Right. It dropped from the previous month, but it's 2.6% higher than where it was at the beginning. Yeah. And mind you, like I said, they changed in January of this year.
Formula they use,
how they use the formula. Yeah, they compare it to a year ago instead of 2 years.
Yep.
So it's really, when they say 3.2, it's closer to 7.
Right.
That's so.
When you go far enough back to when we weren't necessarily living a good life.
It was better than now.
But it's better than now.
Yeah,
man.
It's like when you look at the videos of Biden talking 2 years ago,
right?
And you still, like, we thought he had dementia back then,
right?
But he's coherent compared to now.
It's he's definitely declined.
It's all that monkey meth they give him.
It could be the meth, could be the degenerate gambling monkeys.
Yeah.
You know what, man? Maybe we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, maybe all this is for Biden's personal amusement. And he's out there partying, doing meth with monkeys, gambling. He's trying to get his bananas back. You know.
So, what they want you to know here, it's important to remember, they excluded 2 categories when calculating this inflation rate for this path for November. They excluded 2 minor
two minor
categories that didn't matter.
Yeah.
Food and energy.
Food and gas.
Food and gas.
Food and gas. Those are the 2. As long as you're not buying food or using gas,
heating your home, driving your car,
you're fine.
Yep. Prices have lowered, so they actually.
You're fine.
So it's almost like.
Go to Hobby Lobby. You're fine.
If you exclude food and energy, what happened in November? Black Friday.
Right.
So food and energy are excluded. Those typically don't have anything to do with Black Friday deals.
Right.
But everything else is on sale for a month.
Right.
So that's what they took. They're like, look, the prices are down.
Everything's down.
It's a Christmas sale. It's totally not just a once-a-year thing.
It's the real Black Friday we all wanted.
Yeah, you exclude
discounts
luxury.
on gas.
You exclude
discounts on food.
You exclude luxury items that are senseless and nobody needs. That's not a greedy right-wing extremist bigot racist like food and gas.
Right.
And prices went down. So 0.1% they went down.
Sure.
0.1%. How do you guys? What more do you want?
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right.
That's what you're asking for, miracle workers here.
You really are.
Yeah.
You're really asking for miracles. You know, even though. It's government math, bro. That's just how it's been our whole lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Common Core.
Cycle back to the Department of Defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With their audits.
Yeah, their audits.
Lost $600
Oops.
million. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know
what to tell you.
If we find it, we'll let you know.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we got this last one here, and you work with the kids, right? So you should be a little bit more familiar with or at least some of the habits here.
Yeah.
So Gen Z, what age is Gen Z? What age range is that?
I think that starts at 15 or so, right?
No,
15,
that's
16.
That's Gen Z age range. Let me Google it here. So Gen Z age range is 11 to 26. So anyone between 1997 and 2012.
That's pretty much all my children
is considered Gen Z.
Yeah.
So we have. This is Fortune.com. 99% of Gen Zers report obstacles to saving for a comfortable retirement in their 60s. Much like the precautiously depressed Charlie Brown, Gen Z is looking at their career trajectory and feeling some grief, or good grief in particular. So they have no savings. So more than half of Gen Z, 56%, don't have enough emergency savings to cover 3 months worth of expense. I feel like that's most of the country, honestly.
I think that's everybody.
I don't think most of the country has 3 months. I mean,
no.
If we completely lost all income for 3 months, we could scrape by. And I'm talking
for 3 months.
Yeah,
we'd be cashed in 2.
You'd be cashed in 2. That third month would suck. I mean, I'm probably selling my body, but the third.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a hustler, right? So I'd find a way.
Yeah. So nearly 41% have no retirement savings in the bank. So that's 401k. I mean, you're talking.
So I'm not surprised though. These are kids that are being raised by Gen Z.
Yeah.
And
they're millennials.
Or older millennials, and we lost sight of that a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was about 40 some odd years old. Yeah, I'm Gen X. I'm 40 in my 40s before I even really started considering retirement and pension. Like for me, it just wasn't something to think about. Unlike our generation before, that as soon as they started working, we're putting into it. And what we're seeing is that trickle down.
Yeah,
we're seeing that Reaganomics, right? That trickle down economy.
Yeah, exactly.
Only it's going backwards, where everything's getting more expensive and it's harder and harder to save money.
Yeah,
and the only way to have a retirement plan is to be able to put money into it. And if you're only doing enough to get by, how are you supposed to do more?
To save.
Right.
Well, and that's the problem is 26 is not, we hear Gen Z, we think 16-year-old kids. These kids have been in the workforce for years.
Right.
26, you're out of college more often
You're already working. Yep.
You have, maybe you haven't found your career, but you found a job that can be a career path for you.
Sure.
There's no reason you're not putting like 3 to 5% away for your 401k every paycheck.
No, there's no way.
There's no reason. I mean, that's 26.
Well, and some of it we can blame on the millennials too, man, because like what I notice about millennials is they're less concerned about career trajectories and more about finding a job that they can pay their bills that doesn't suck.
That's what I think. This is going to be a wake-up call to a lot of people, but I don't think there's such thing as a dream job. I think people get their dream job and they find out it wasn't what they thought it was.
Sure.
I mean, I traveled the entire region doing stand-up, right? I mean, that wasn't my only source of income, but I was making decent money doing that, and I was on the road every weekend.
Right.
And it was fun, but let me tell you,
that's
ain't all it's cracked up to be. Yeah. Not the dream. Yeah. It's not like it's not. So I can tell people, as someone who's worked.
I might argue, I don't have my dream job.
Right.
I do have my dream career, though.
But yours is something different. It fulfills you, right? That's something different. Yeah.
But I'm Gen X, too. That's kind of my whole life has been about working my way up and finding that plateau where I can find a sense of bliss in what I do.
Yeah.
I've had some miserable jobs, and every job I've ever had, I've had to work for somebody that was dumber than me for the most part. So I took it as a motivating factor to go and climb the ladder and be the boss and make those changes.
Yep.
But the drive kind of got lost with the millennials a little bit, and then it's totally awash with Gen Z. Well, they've lost hope in that system, that structure.
Well, part of the problem is boomers refuse to get out of middle management positions.
Yes,
so they won't retire and they won't move up. So and they're too old, and the companies won't admit it, but they're not going to hire someone at 65 years old that's going to leave in 2 years. So you've got these boomers that won't move up, and millennials just said, "Fuck it, I have no way to move up."
Where am I going to go?
They leave companies and they go somewhere else. And or they stay in that same job and they're stagnant.
Right.
And that's really what it's come down to is they're like, okay, well, a lot of people have become disillusioned. We had more people in my generation go to college than any other generation before.
Right.
They got these college degrees for what they thought was their dream job. They got in the jobs. They found it sucked. I mean, you're talking close to 80% of them.
They found out there were no actual jobs in women's studies.
70-80% of them don't even work anything in a field that has anything to do with that degree.
Nothing to do with their degree.
They're like, oh, this sucks. I'm just going to find a job that lets me take care of my family, stick a little bit away, and have time to do the things that I enjoy. Maybe a vacation every year, whatever. And that's what it is. That's where people are at.
Kids better start saving, though, because we all know Social Security's not going to be there.
And that's what makes me wonder if some of these Gen Z kids, they see the current state of the country, and they go, oh, I'm never going to retire. There's no point in saving for retirement.
Right.
Because that's what they say. I mean, millennials, I don't know if we'll get it. We may not. Gen Z kids, there's no chance.
No.
The next one, there's no chance.
Literally not. Unless, Caleb, we talked about this, and you and I, you can't talk to me for too much time before I start roping in conspiracies.
Sure.
But maybe this mindset, this mentality that we've programmed into these Gen Zers is a way for them to be like, you know what, let us save for your retirement for you.
Yeah.
And now invest them even deeper into that Social Security Administration thing. I mean, if you approach these young kids and you say, I'm not sure what my SSI percentage is right now, but I want to say it's probably around 10 or 11%. Mm-hmm. These kids, if they come to them and say, hey, why don't you put 27% in here?
Yeah.
We can make sure you have a good, healthy income.
Well, that's what we'll do is we'll kick the can down the road.
Right, and that's all they'll do is kick that can. And we're, as a society, we're getting dumb enough to believe that shit. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, man. I got real deep on us at the end here, and I don't mean to be all gloom and doom.
Well, no, and part of it, and we talk on this, and this is perfect wrapping it up. We talk on the show all the time until we're blue in the face about population control, and that's a big goal of the regimes and the elites.
All
is population
of this,
control.
yes.
All roots back. I mean, the food you eat that sterilizes you.
Yes.
The stuff they teach kids in school.
Yes.
Goes back. Not you, obviously.
No.
But no.
But
you know what I mean.
What they're trying to do with the history and how we view. The founding of our nation, that story is a great tale, but it's also very tragic in the mentality and the mindset of the humans at that time. And thank God we evolved as humans in our nature to be more understanding and compassionate about diversity and differences in people.
Yeah.
But that's a part of our life that we still have to look back on and go, okay, that's
how you avoid letting it happen again.
That's how you avoid doing it again. You have to teach about it.
You have to, and that makes people uncomfortable. But
it's
the reality is you have to learn
how you grow. Being uncomfortable allows you to grow.
Exactly. And that's the thing is you've got, like I said, so you've got the food sterilizing people, the birth control sterilizing women, the COVID shots did, God knows what, fertility rates.
Unspeakable things to people.
And you're not only doing that, you're getting people that are just giving up because the economy's so bad they can't afford to have kids.
Yep.
So you're seeing depopulation come at us from every angle. Where you're not seeing it yet is end of life. We're seeing it at beginning of life a lot. We're not seeing it at the end of life, the end of life periods yet. So what I think you're going to start to see is you're going to see a push in 10, 20 years. Hey, we're just going to stop giving grandma end-of-life care.
Sure.
Just going to let her kick the bucket a little early.
Just let her go.
And we'll save some Social Security money.
Sure. Right to die is a thing.
We'll save the climate. We'll do, but not sure. Yeah, you have a right to kick the bucket if you want to, but
by choice.
I'm talking they're going to refuse
don't let the government
care.
decide.
Yeah, they're going to refuse care. It'll all be a giant, massive conspiracy there.
That would probably be the next step.
That's what you're going to see happening because they've attacked it from the front end at birth. Now they're going to attack it at the end of the life stage. At death. and they're just, hey, instead of hospice care, how about we just put you down?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like they do that in Canada.
Right.
They do literally. That's
socialized healthcare. That's
Canada. Yeah, socialized healthcare and right to die. They've got literally the government will tell you, hey, we're not going to save you. We're just going to kill you. That's
You're
all.
done. You had a good life. You had a good run.
Have you considered killing yourself?
You had a good run.
43-year-old that got in a motorcycle accident.
Right.
Have you considered killing yourself? That's literally what they do is they put people down like animals.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. And who knows what the outcome is. I just hope in my lifetime I don't see it all crumble, but I know for sure I'm preparing my children
Your kids
for
will.
it to be.
Your kids will.
I want my kids to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
So.
Your kids will. I might.
You're young enough. You may see it.
I may see the beginning stages
in your golden years.
Yeah. In the end, at that point, who gives a shit?
When you're not collecting Social Security,
they'll
or being
put
retired.
me down. Yeah, they'll put me down. No, I'm a millennial.
When you're on deck to get put down,
I've been waiting in line. They're gonna put me down, and I'm like,
I'm on the wait list. I got 9 months.
Like, where did it all go wrong?
Right.
They're gonna put me down like a dog.
And then people still be blaming Trump. So.
Yeah, it's Trump. No,
that's Trump bad, orange man bad.
Trump. Yep, that's exactly it. So,
Jesus.
All right, man. Where can people find you at?
You can get me on all the social medias at Mr. Z Comedy, Z Track Productions. And mostly you can just find me chilling in my crib and hanging out with 5th graders, teaching them the ways.
That's his job. He doesn't just hang out with
No,
5th
I'm not
graders.
just pimping it at the elementary school.
No, he doesn't.
No, I got a job. I'm a public school teacher. I love being a teacher. I love what I do, and I love who I do it for. And I do it for those kids, man. Those kids need a dude like me in their lives that can talk to them like real humans and teach them to be just a little bit better than I find them, and that's what I do every day. So at Mr. Z Comedy, you can check me out. We got our Comedy and Chaos shows coming up. February will be the next cycle. I think it's February 17th.
February 17th and
yeah,
March 9th.
It's a 2-nighter. 2 shows that night, a 7 p.m. and a 9:30 p.m. It's going to be lit.
Beach
Come
house.
on out and have a good time.
Wow.
You can get tickets for one show or the other, or you can buy a package deal and sit through both. It'll be a good time. They got good food, good drinks, good service over there. And as always, no fucking censorship at Beach House, man. Come out. Let's experience
February
comedy
17th,
the way it was intended to be. Given to us by our comedy gods.
No holds barred. We love it. Any political runs in the future? You gonna run for office again?
I'm not running for office again.
Checked out.
For now, you know, this next cycle, Pillen's almost a shoo-in for a re-election. Maybe when his term's up, when he's termed out, I'll consider a run for governor again. Because I really do, in my heart, believe that Nebraska deserves better than what we're doing. And I think that we are the state that can and will create a model for other states to come after. It happened with the Libertarian Party in our state. We really created something special that other states look towards for guidance and support. So I think that we can do it. We just have to set our differences aside and make it. Remember that we're just all humans, man. And if we just remember to be excellent to each other.
Or meth head monkeys.
Right? Or meth head monkeys could be the way. If I know the sleeping patterns of meth head monkeys, that might be
able to.
what I need to know to win the gubernatorial race.
So I have one more question. I'll get you out of here after this. So you've done the libertarian, the third party thing, right? Yeah. You campaigned harder than anyone that's ever run as a third party candidate in the history of the state.
Yeah.
And you did better than anybody in the history of the state.
Thanks.
But no offense, you still got blown out.
I did.
Right? You got blown
it's
out.
those missing ballots.
It's the missing ballots.
It's the missing ballots.
So missing ballots aside,
do you 51% of people that did not vote, I am the reason you should vote.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So would you consider changing parties? And the Republicans in this state are a good old boys club. So what if if you could go to the Democrats, if you could start right now and say, hey, I'm conservative enough to win in the state of Nebraska, but I've got liberal enough views that you won't be compromising on everything. If you kind of like they did with Bob Christ, he was a Republican, right? And he ran.
Right.
Do you think you could say, hey, I'm fiscally conservative enough and pro-gun? Yeah. I could maybe make this work.
Conservative in the streets, liberal in the sheets enough.
Yeah.
You know what? No.
And
I go back to I've been part of the Libertarian Party for 25 years.
Yeah.
And when I found that party, I said to myself, this is different. This is a path up the middle.
Yeah.
This kind of has the best of both worlds for me. And, you know, I could go pretend and play a Republican. I've been asked about that before. I've been asked if I could go be a Democrat. And the answer is I can't. I can't put up a front of somebody that I'm not.
Yeah, sure.
And both those parties, as much as I have had genuine connections with people within those parties that are actual people, I know just as well as you know that your party is not run by you. It's run by your political elites that are making all of your decisions from the top down. And the Libertarian Party is small enough that I still feel like I can make an impact and a difference in the trajectory of that organization. So until then, I'm kind of steadfast. I'm still registered as a Libertarian. Yeah. But for president right now, I'm really back in Vermin Supreme. Vermin Supreme 2024. I mean, he may be running on the Marijuana Now Party or the Pirate Party. But until they give me a better clown to vote for.
Yeah, at least he admits it's a joke.
Yeah,
and it's a bit.
In on the joke is his website, man. And that's if you're in on the joke, you get it. Like they're putting the clowns up there. The difference is that their clowns are putting on suits and ties and pretending not to be clowns.
Exactly.
Man.
That's
Vermin owns it. He wears 7 ties because he's clearly more powerful than everybody else.
Free ponies and mandatory toothbrushing.
Free ponies, and zombie power.
I need to get him on the show.
Zombie power.
I'd have fun if I brought Vermin on. I
can make that happen.
All right, yeah, have him get at me.
I can make that happen.
We'll have him on. We'll do a quick little interview with him.
He's a great guy, man. Just on a personal level.
I partied with him. He's a nice guy.
Dude, I've spent a lot of time hanging out with him over the last several years, and the dude is just a genuine, good-hearted man that is literally trying to do exactly what I did when I was running for governor, which is bring awareness to the corruption within the system and demonstrating how broken it really is.
The other thing, what I noticed about talking to him is you see a guy like that and you think he's a crazy homeless man. Yeah. Very well-spoken. Very intelligent.
Very intelligent.
If he would shave his beard and put a real suit on,
we would never know.
Actually hold office.
He could win.
Yeah.
He could win.
He could actually
if he would stop the game and the joke about the free ponies, obviously he knows all of that stuff.
Yeah.
He's all about just accepting people for who they are and doing what's right for other people and getting government out of your wallet in your bedroom, man. That's what matters the most.
Well, how are they going to fund the transgender monkeys?
Yeah, I don't know.
If they can't do that.
We also have Afro Man running on the Marijuana Now Party.
Afro Man.
Yeah, he might get. I haven't seen much of him on his campaign or his political
2
platform.
zigzags and a 45, baby. There we go.
I was gonna run for president.
Then I got high. All right, that's been our show, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to check out the sponsors in the description below. Tactilian.com, TACTILIAN.com. Promo code BASED for 15% off your order, like the title of the show, BASED. They got Pro USA, Pro Second Amendment, outdoorsy hunting. They got clothes, merchandise for your vehicle, accessories, get the whole 9 yards. Again, Tactilian.com. Get your last second late Christmas shopping in. TACTILIAN.com. Promo code BASED for 15% off your order. We will see you Saturday for the big show, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, wherever you get your shows that were not banned, except YouTube. We are 2024. It's the announcement time. YouTube's going to be back. We're coming back from YouTube. We're going to make we think we've got it figured out. They've lightened the algorithm up a little bit. We're going to try to do the YouTube thing again, which means we'll probably be banned by February of 2024.
What's the over-under on that?
Because I'll double down and just use more harsh rhetoric to see how long it takes.
You're really just going to go all in.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll probably
believe it or not, folks, Caleb is using a filter on these shows.
I am. It's so I will. So we're going to try the YouTube thing again. We got lots of stuff coming up. We've got some new features of the show I can't talk about yet, and then some fun stuff coming up going into 2024. That's been our show. What are you going to say?
No, I was just going to say happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus. Merry Christmas.
Happy
whatever
New
you celebrate.
Year. Yeah.
Whatever you celebrate.
Blessed Yule, all that stuff, man. Enjoy this season. Hug somebody you care about. Tell somebody you love them.
Yep, and go visit your local gambling addict monkeys. They're having a tough time, too.
Bring them some meth. They need it.
They need some meth. That's been our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. See you Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, wherever you get your show. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse. And stay based.